I don't have to put it in there. If you have custom tags, so for those of you that are really good in Command and start tagging your database to specific tags, you're going to have options in that custom tags. For most of us that don't use Command, you're not going to, but definitely when you're putting people in your database, start tagging them to what they are. So if it's someone that's a family friend or old coworker, or I got this referral on cold calling, like you want to have them in certain tags, or like my farm, I have in tags where they bought their house 3 years or more ago, and then 3 years or less. So I can market them different than I would someone, that's 3 years. Like you've owned your house for 5 years, like this, how much equity you have compared to someone that only owned it for a year. I'm not going to give them that spiel. So when you're doing your smart plans and setting that stuff up, you can set them up differently like that. So that's what the custom tag thing is. The estimated close date, we'll do April 28th. So just like walk through with me. I just want you guys to see how you do it. Estimated list price is going to be, let's do 600. I'm making 3%. Oh, I'm making 3.5%. Put 3.5. And I'm going to say it's active. Yes, I am. And then there's opportunity stages. So normally I don't do staging. I mean, that's not normal. So I put it in showing when I create the opportunity, usually for a listing. If you're just cultivating or having the appointment, which is the other box, opportunity phase, yeah, you guys can see it. You can put that in there. So like cultivate or appointment, if it wasn't yet your signed contract, like if you're just going on an appointment, you can put it, as appointment. I'm going to do active because we're already at that stage. I got the contract. I'm putting them in. Ideally, you want to put them in before you go on the appointment. Like I'm setting the appointment with this person and they're in your system already. We all procrastinate and don't do that. We do it once we have time, but this will help you as you start to get into escrow. Oh, I've already done all this part, so I'm already ahead of the game. But most of the time when you come in to create the opportunity, you're going to put active. You're going to already have a contract signed, whether it's buyer or a listing.
What does opportunity stage mean?
Opportunity is just it turns into a transaction, but it's pretty much a client you're working with. So anyone that you're actively working with, you want to put them in this opportunity stage, because if you go back to your dashboard here. So if I go back to my opportunities, see how I have my listings and I have 2 cultivating. This is all like a training. Let's see how I have 2 cultivating, 1 active, 1 under contract, buyers, same thing, 3 active buyers. So it shows you where all your people are in the stages they're at if you move them through the system, through Command. It's really for you guys to keep track of your people that are active, not just leads. Like if you are cold calling and you have someone you're going to follow up with, you don't necessarily need to put them in the opportunity stage until it's like, okay, we're going to start looking at homes. If they were going through the pre-approval process, I would put them in here because you're cultivating that lead. You're trying to grow that into them going to purchase. So you are working on it. It just gives you the dashboard here simply. Instead of like your database is, tons of people in it. You don't need all that in your opportunities. So it will also start showing your GCI, like your potential income for each side. So like potential income for my listings that I have in my fake. I wish this was real. I wish. Yes. But it shows like this is your potential income if you make this much commission,
I'm sorry, that's after you hit create. Yes.
No, so once you hit create, this comes up, like you create it and then it takes you to the person. But I went back to the dashboard. So like if you hit the little hands again, it'll take you back to this screen. This is always the main screen when you hit those little hands. Then from there, so now I know he's an active listing. So I'm going to go to my active And that's him, Aaron Stafford, which I need to follow up with him. Actually, he's a person. So now it brings his transaction up. I'm going to try to make this a little smaller. Let me see if I can. So it shows on the whole screen. Okay.
So can we hit create on ours?
Yes. Yeah, you can do the create part because I already went through that. Yeah. So hit create listing and then fill in all those tabs. I just want to try to make this. Can we make like the screen smaller? Can I make this smaller? How do I like?
It might be on the top on the search browser. It should be.
No, I don't think you.
No. Okay. It just looks easier when you can like see the whole thing. Yeah, but
Or maybe
yeah.
Maybe if you tilted it.
Do it this way?
Very,
No. Well, I'll just show you guys like how it's just going to be like that. Yeah. Oh, well. So if I had another active person in here, they would show up in whatever stage they're in. He's my only active listing. So he's the only one showing up. But say I had someone that was at appointment stage, it would show up. So it kind of, if you look through it, will like do everything through the stage that they're at in active. Then now he's active, but now we went into contract. We accepted an offer. So I'm going to move him to under contract. You just toggle it over and move him. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? I think he went to under. Oh, he did. He went to under contract. See, like I have old people in here that I haven't moved. Okay. So he went to under contract now. So now he's down here. And then like when it's closed, like this person should be closed. It's a little touchy. It's different on an iPad.
You can drive on that?
Confirm. Okay. So now he would be my only under contract escrow. So you can drag them to each spot. That's like a little hint, like tool to move everybody through the stages. And then you can also change it to list view. Like if you want it to look this way, I like it to look board, but that's just personal preference, but you can do whatever you want. Okay. So that's like the basics of setting up an opportunity. So set up your buyers, set up your listing, any appointments, set them up, put them in your database first, and then set them up in the opportunity stage. Okay. So then from there, now I have this Aaron Stafford sitting there and he's just like a little box sitting there. But if you click his name, it's going to take me to his whole file. So in his file, I can write notes, I can upload documents, I can do a bunch of different things in here. So this is like his little file within my command. So for this class, because it's more the compliance standpoint, the main tab I'm concerned with is the documents tab. So, I'm gonna have to put an address. It's gonna make me, it won't let me upload anything. So how you edit is these little pencils. You can edit everything. So what's it gonna make me enter? Cancel. Okay. So it's gonna make you put in like I'm just gonna put in my address. Okay. So anywhere that there's a little spot that has little, red spots, you need to edit. And that's that little pencil in the box there. You have to put an address in. If you try to send it to Bailey for commission instructions, it's not going to happen. So yeah, you have to have an address in there. You have to have the commission in there, the name, some things like where it says appointment date, agreement 1, contract date, close date. You don't have to have all the dates in, but put in as much information as you have. So that's all the details. The seller profile is he registered on my app? If they're registered to your app, it'll show here and it will show all their history on the app. So if they're going and actively looking at houses and harding them or whatever, it's going to show right here in the seller profile, which is really cool to have access to what your clients are looking at. And then the guide is if they're attached to the app, it gives them more stuff through your app. So he's not connected to it, but if he was, all that would show here. And then the main two sections I'm gonna work in today is the documents and the offers and commissions. So the offers and commissions is what Bailey cares about. So whether you do it yourself or hire a TC, it's so important to know this, because if you hire an outside TC, they're not gonna know how to do it if they've never used our system. But this is what Bailey gets sent so he can create your commission disbursement to send to escrow to get your paycheck. So I'm gonna go through that tab in a second. The documents tab is where I check everything in your file, everything. So Susie is gonna be working on one. She's working on her escrow right now, but she's gonna be uploading all her documents. So Derek's walked through this, LaShonda. It's awful, right? It's awful, okay? It's awful. But I say that because you can hire a TC to do it. But if you come through PC with me, I make you do it the first time. You need to know you are the owner of your business, and you need to know what documents need to be in the file and where they go. If your TCs go on vacation, TCs can't always do, they have a bunch of other files, and you're like, hey, where do I get that document? Or your client reaches out to you in 6 months and says, hey, I need something, or what does this form mean? And you're like, I have no idea how to even get that form or what it is. It's all in here. So in the documents tab, when you first created your opportunity, you're gonna hit, pick checklist type, and it's gonna either be residential or land. Those are the two options we have. If it's a lease, you do occasionally get like a rental, you would hit residential, and then a lease list will pop up for you too. But most of you are gonna be doing residential. So you click residential, and it's going to bring up 3 other columns: listed, under contract, and closed. And so that's all your documents go in these files. I know, you get so excited. It's like, so excited. Okay, another cool thing though that Mr. Derek taught me, if you use Docusign, you can, if your Docusign's attached to your command, you can pick, so see how it says my computer manual, but there's no Docusign on mine because I have not implemented what Derek taught me, but I will. It's on the list, like on the, yeah. So if your Docusign's attached, you can click attach files from Docusign, and everything in your Docusign folder, you can just pick where they're gonna go in here. Yeah. Yes. I know. Yes. So, but you have to use Docusign on your car forms. So when you're having your client sign the car forms, you have to have Docusign. You can't do the digital ink one. There's 2 different signatures. So you have to do Docusign. You have to have that room created, all your documents in your Docusign file, and then you can upload into command. So.
Oh, in documents, first of all, lady.
Yeah, so in the documents tab, and then it's here, it would pop up saying Docusign. So instead of for my computer where you're just gonna do browse and find it in your computer, you can do it that way. You did it that way, but it's easier in Docusign. So if you're doing it yourself, most TCs will do it that way. You know, they have just folders, and that's all they do all day. So there's 3 different sections. If you had a buyer, there would be no listed section, only under contract and closed. But since we did a list, I wanted to show you guys the listed one because it's the 3 tabs. And it basically just shows you all the documents that have to go in here. Required, conditional. Conditional just means like if it was if it was a trust, we need these extra forms, but if it's not a trust, we don't need them. That's what conditional means. If it's, what was the other option? Optional is if you canceled the listing, we need the cancellation in there. And then there's miscellaneous. So you can add as many things as you need to. And then once you add something, there's this little button up here, the submit to Market Center will highlight, and you submit it to the Market Center. And I get notified that your file is ready to be reviewed. So when you take a listing, you want to upload everything and submit it. So we have record of the listing here Bailey has record of it. We have record knowing that something was listed. We have an active contract. If Department of Real Estate ever came in, I don't ever come, but if they do, we have to have all that stuff. We can't have a listing on the MLS with no signed contract. We will be in big trouble. And so you may have the contract in your car forms and you put it on the MLS, but if you're not here and Department of Real Estate comes in, guess who doesn't have access to your car forms? Me, Phil, only you do. So that's why it's important that these get uploaded as soon as you take a listing, you know, so that we have that. If they say, hey, such and such listing, or we've got phone calls before where it's like, hey, this disclosure or something, and another agent calls and they're like, can you look into such and such transaction? Nothing's uploaded in Command. So we just look like we don't know, and they can't get a hold of the agent because the agent's out of town or whatever, and they need something. Well, we have no access to your car forms. It has to be in here. So if you take a listing within 2 days, we like to see that stuff uploaded in here so that it's there if we need it. The under contract section, there's a lot more stuff. It goes in order. So the offer, you know, through every single disclosure that's required. And so this, if you go into escrow within a couple of days, upload that, as you get stuff, upload it and then submit. And then I get notification that it's there. And if there's something signed wrong or something missing, then I can tell you guys. It's not after close of escrow. Hey, we need to get this signed still, you know, or hey, this disclosure was wrong. Or how come they didn't answer this? Because I'll look at that stuff to make sure that you guys are protected from a compliance standpoint. So there's tons of stuff in there, and it all gets uploaded in the under contract section. And then the final section is the closed. There's only a few items needed in there, like your email record. The email records, it's like looking up the address and saving one PDF, uploading that to all your conversations. The biggest thing with this email tab, it's for you guys too, is if there was an important conversation done over text, your seller agreed to something or your buyer agreed to something, put it in your command file. Because 3 years down the road, when someone comes back and says, whatever, this happened, or you said this, or you whatever, it's right here. No, this is what, and two, if you make a phone call that's important, follow it up with an email or a text. That will protect you in court over anything in your career. So per our phone conversation today, you know, blah, blah, blah. So it's in an email reiterating what you guys agreed upon. So the email records, everyone stresses out about them because they are a pain. I understand. It's really, I don't care, like, thank you. Like, I don't care about those messages necessarily. It's just easier to save them all together, but it's really the important messages you guys had. That is huge for us. If someone calls and we're going to be in like legal trouble, well, I have an email and we have nothing to show for it. And they're like, I have the email, you know, the other side, we want to have that stuff in our file. So yeah.
Is there a way, like a way you would recommend, you know, saving it together? For instance, you can't change an email file to a PDF without it. Maybe it's based on your computer. I don't know, but is there a way? Like, what's the best way to get that uploaded?
So it depends on everyone's computer, because I know yeah.
If you hit print on any type of email, hit print, and then it gives you the option to save this PDF, and then just save it.
Save it.
Address and then the date of the email or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So now that document, you can upload it into here. Does that make sense?
So print, but it's still,
So
yeah.
I'm like,
If you want me to,
Yeah.
if you want me to take a look at it.
Like on the emails, you can create a folder for client, like for
Yeah.
important stuff, and just keep everything for client.
In the folder, and then maybe you could save the folder. Everyone is like some TCs have like a system, like an actual program that does it for them. It extracts all their emails. So if you're hiring a TC, they're going to probably be able to get all the emails for you, or say, hey, just send me all your emails and I'll create the PDF. So then you just check. So it's not something to like worry about, you know, a lot, but I know, I get it. And everyone, so for me, I have to take from my Gmail, KW Gmail, I email every single email over to a different email, and it lets me save from that email. It's like an AOL something. And so from that email, it lets me save it all in one PDF, but from my KW Gmail, no, like I can't. So it just depends on like the email account, I guess. I don't know. So then conversation log is like if you write down notes. I have some old school agents in here that will literally write down every conversation they had, the date, the time, like everything they talked to, and upload it. Yes. So that's cool. Like go for it. And then text record is, you know, if there's more important text. Then the last couple of things are like the verification of property condition, home warranty, closing statement, the MLS sold. So that's like the last section. And same thing, you hit submit and it comes over to us. So these are all where documents go. So if you're like, hey, what documents am I missing? You can come in here and see what your TC hasn't uploaded. It'll have a little missing. I'll check it and it will say missing. We need this to close. So instead of, you know, trying to get your TC to, sometimes your TC just doesn't get back to you right away because they're doing other stuff. And you're like, what else does my client need to sign? I'm meeting them in an hour. You can come right into your file and see what they haven't uploaded. And then the other fun tab is the offers and commissions. So we're going to walk through this one. This is for Bailey because it helps him if this is done correctly. So I told him I would show you guys how to use this one today. So offers and commissions is where your commission tab is, or your commission is put in with your split. All that stuff's in there. Now, some of you, like if you're on PC and the system hasn't updated, it won't show my split necessarily yet, but Bailey will update that in the back end. But it's pretty close, like accurate, and it should be correct. So I'll walk you guys through how to do one. So what you do, you hit offers and commissions, you add a new offer, and we'll just call it initial offer. And this is going to be, we'll say the person gave an offer today and they're going to close April 14th. So we just put in just exactly what the purchase contract says to what the end date is. And we hit parties and our seller is my listing is Aaron. I'll just put in Karen. We'll do Karen. Karen. And then we're gonna I'll just put Sophia as the agent. Obviously put their full names. I'm just doing this for time's sake. And emails, have an email or phone number in there. And then the buyer, you don't need to put in their phone number, address. You probably don't have it because this is under the offers and commissions tab. Okay. And then you go to terms and it's going to ask you the terms of the offer that you guys accepted. So whether it's your buyer, you're going to have an offer for them just as you would for a listing, but it's going to be whatever the terms are that you guys agreed on and are opening escrow on. So for this one, I think we said it was going to be 600,000 was the purchase price. So I'll just keep it at that. No, that wouldn't happen. And then if it was all cash, you could put cash in the cash amount. Oh, sorry. So it was all cash. You could put that amount in there. If it's a financed amount, which most people is going to be a loan, you put it in there. Their earnest money, say they gave a 2% deposit. Most is 1 to 3%. So whatever their deposit was, whatever the contract said, option fee usually does not apply. Termination option does not usually apply. Seller costs would be if the seller was going to pay any closing costs to the buyer, which in this market is not happening, but it could happen in years. Okay, so then we go to agent analysis. And this, we can put the pros and cons of the offer in a summary. So this tab was created that you could, if you got multiple offers, you could put each offer in separately and list the pros and cons. Most agents aren't going to do that because it takes a lot of time. For me, I get multiple offers. I print them all out, highlight them, and set them out for my seller. But you know, if you're computer techie and want to do that, that's what it's set up for. So you would put that stuff in here, the summary of the offer and all that, or the pros and cons of it. And then you hit save. And it shows that you have this offer, all the details of it. And if I wanted to add another offer, I'd hit add another offer. If I was going to do that comparing thing, I'm not. This is the offer we accepted. So I'm going to hit accept. And now it's going to walk me through managing the commission. So you're going to hit manage commission. And it's gonna have all the commission breakdowns in here. So it has the sales price, the commission rate, the total commission, the contract date never populates. You always have to go back in and put it in again. I don't know why. Still have not fixed that. And then it breaks down all your stuff. So let's say, here's my gross commission, here's my royalty, here's the company commission, whatever split you're on, it'll show all that stuff in here. So it breaks it all down for you and it says your net to you. And it also has it over here on the side. It breaks it down like in that way. Now where it gets changed, like things get tricky, is if you want to edit agent payment. So you can go here and say you had a referral. Someone gave you the transaction and you have to pay a 20% referral. You can put that all in here so you can track it yourself. So you would go down to the bottom where it says add an item, and you would choose what kind of item you're gonna add. So it's gonna be say just an outside agent gave you this referral. So it'd be outside referral, and you'd have to put in all their information. So the referral amount, let's say 20%, the tax ID. So most of the time it's an EIN number. They give you a referral agreement. There's an EIN number. It's going to make you put in all this information. I'm not going to do it all, but when it does that, it will take it off the top of your commission. So you have the access to do that. Or if you were going to split this with another agent, you can add another agent and put in their split, and it will put it all in there for you. Yes.
Is that KW agent or outside agent or both?
Both. So you should be able to add another agent, put in their name. They would have to be in your database though. So you do have to put them in, and then what their commission would be. You can add all that stuff in here. I think you can do an outside agent. I think the system allows you, but most of the time you have some kind of referral agreement with an outside agent, because we have to have an agreement with that broker. So you would have a separate form signed, like a CAR document that would be the referral agreement between you two. So you just want to make sure you have that on top of putting it in here. And same with the referral. If someone gives you a referral, they should send you guys a referral form that says, I'm giving you 20% for this buyer with all their information on it, and we sign it. Either myself, Phil, Bailey, one of us signs it, so that we can send that back to their broker and all the commissions get paid correctly. The more you put in here, the better, because this is what happens. Bailey gets this and it's just this. And then they're like, oh, there's a referral. So then he has to change his back end system to match, he has to fix it all. So if you have it all in here right from the beginning, it makes his life so much easier. The other tip for Bailey is once you hit submit, I'm not going to hit submit because he's going to get this, but once you hit submit, it goes to him and me. We can both see it, but we can't edit it. Only you guys can edit it. So if there's something wrong, or say you would just want to add a note, like I want to pay for something. Say we're running something in the office, you can actually do that in deduction. So like some of the ALC was doing some donations to the orphanage. So they wanted to add that into their checks. So they would go to like edit agent payment, and they would do a deduction, add item, and they would do a deduction, and they would write in what the deduction's for.
And then that way it's easier, like a tax kind of trackable, you can. Whatever.
Because your DA, you can keep every single DA from every transaction, and you're ready to go for taxes. You have all your income. It should match your 1099 and you're done. And you can show that it's like, it's not a legal document, but kind of. I mean, if you got audited from the IRS, it's like, here's all my commissions from my office. It's totally tracked. So if it's correct in here, it makes Bailey, because he'll fix the DA. So if you've ever got a DA from Bailey, it's a disbursement authorization. And it basically is an authorization to escrow to authorize checks accordingly to whoever is supposed to get paid. If it's all correct on here for him creating the DAs 10 times easier than you guys going back and forth. Oh, there's a referral. Oh, I need a deduction for this. It's all just in here. You can literally do everything in here. Agents just don't know that you can do everything in here. Or if your TC is doing it, your TC doesn't know because no one told them. So like, I didn't know there was a deduction for this, or I didn't even know there was a referral. I don't have that. and then they have to send that to their TC or whatever. Stuff gets missed. I mean, we're all busy. But you can add it all in here. And what's cool is it tracks it for you. So then you have it all tracked in there. It also has your cap. So it says 3,000 is my royalty and 22,000 is my company dollar. And as you start filling that in, there's nothing in here because my testing one. But if I hit submit, I'm just gonna hit submit and I'll delete it. It will also ask you if you want to donate to KW Cares or KWKC, which is cool. I haven't seen that one before. Or yeah, that's cool. So you can donate. So say you wanted to donate $10, it'll add it in.
What's that one for?
It says it empowers the next generation of leaders and entrepreneurs with the tools to remove limiting beliefs, takes actions, and live a big life. So it's some kind of mentorship program, it looks like. So if you were going to donate, you'd hit donate and submit, or you can skip. So I'm going to donate. And then thank you for your donation. And then what will happen is once Bailey accepts this, now it shows in submitted status, your cap will update. So once he transports it into his system, your cap will update and it will show, I only owe this much more on royalty and I only owe this much more on company dollar, as long as all your numbers are in here correctly. Now, some of the agents, you should, if you're in PC, be on the PC split stuff, and Bailey has that and it'll be in your command, right? If it's not, you can just email Bailey and say, hey, I want to make sure, because if you really want to track it in here, you want to have those numbers right in there. So then it gets sent to him. And the next step with Bailey is your escrow. When you open escrow, you get a whole escrow packet of a lot of paperwork. And there's a commission instructions in there. And I ask this every other day. What's the commission instructions? I'm like, it's from escrow. So then you have to look through the escrow packet, and that has to be signed by Bailey and be sent back to escrow. So my advice to help you guys quit, not go back and forth on emails, is submit your commission in here. Once you get the commission instructions, you usually get commission instructions from escrow within like 2 to 3 days after opening escrow. So as soon as you get those, submit this in here on that 3rd or 4th day. Now Bailey has a record, the market center has a record. They know we have this many transactions closing this month, or hopefully closing this month. They don't know otherwise. They don't know what's listed on the MLS. Like, you check MLS, but it's not like a commissions tracker. So we don't know. So, no, they don't.
Sometimes there's times I get it in the mail or whatever, and I open the check and I'm like, this wasn't even on there.
Yeah, and we're part of like 5 or 6 different boards. So not everything pulls up on, like, if we just pull up this area, it's not going to pull up maybe LaShonda's board that she has a listing out there and it shows up on that board unless we go to her particular board on the MLS. It's just how it search it. It's how it's everything saved in the MLS. So this is the way to tell. Like, I've talked to Bailey before about that, and he's like, yeah, I didn't even know this was a deal, because they submitted the commissions tab like literally the day I'd already closed. Escrow had already closed. He got the check and he was like, what? So it's just, it's just helpful. It's helpful for you, and you won't be like, oh, what am I doing at the end, of an escrow? It's just to teach you guys like where everything is, and I'm like grateful all of you guys are in here, because a lot of the seasoned agents, they do not care. They will not come in and learn it. They're like, my TC will do it, but it's important to know where to go. It takes you 5 minutes and it's done if your TC can't do it for you. So, it's just important to know what command functions are in that section. There's so much other stuff in command, but I just really wanted to go over the opportunity section with all of these things. So, I was just going to say, backtrack to escrow. When you get that commission instructions, it has to be signed. So our preferred process, myself and Bailey, would be you submit it in here, 3 to 4 days in escrow, submit the commissions tab, email him, say, hey, Bailey, I just submitted it in command, and the commission instructions are here from escrow to be signed. Please sign those and send me back the disbursement authorization, or the DA. And he'll go, awesome, because he doesn't have to go search for this in command, or, hey, you didn't submit this. That happens a lot of times. Commission instructions get emailed to him and there's nothing in command. So he can't even do a DA until this is all done. So then he has to go back to the TC and say, hey, can you do this? Or the agent. And they're like, where do we go? So If you do it that process, it'll be seamless. And then he'll email you the disbursement authorization. And from there, he'll have the signed commission instructions, the disbursement authorization, and you say, thank you very much, and send back to escrow, and you're done. And so when your check gets cut, there's no issues, everything should be correct, and you're good to go. Now, there is times stuff changes throughout your escrow, because that does happen. All of a sudden, you're giving a $500 credit for a home warranty because something happened, or you're gonna give the buyers a credit for some repair out of your commission. So you wanna deduct that out of your commission, say $500. Once this has been submitted, you can't go back and change it. It's done. It's already been imported to Bailey. So at that point, you just email him and say, hey, look, there's a deduction now. I'm agreeing to pay this much for whatever it is. And then he can fix the DA, and then you send that new DA to escrow. The important thing is send that new DA to escrow, because sometimes they're wrong. Like the last one doesn't get sent, and then they cut the checks completely wrong and they have to send them back. I'm sure you've had to send back multiple checks. You send them back to escrow has to recut them, and you're not getting paid for like another week because they have to do that whole process. So even if you have a TC, Christina, for those of you that have used Christina, she will get your authorization that your DA is correct. She will make you email back. She will not email it to escrow until you say it's good. So when she's on if she's a TC in your file, she'll say in the email, hey, is this good? And then you have to say, yes, I agree. My commission looks correct. Everything looks right. Go ahead and send it to escrow. And then she'll send it to escrow for you as your TC, but she will not send it. And sometimes she has to ask, I'm in the emails, and she has asked them like 10 times, and they're like, oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, I got to look at it now. But it's your commission. Like, don't mess with that. Don't mess with it. It's so easy. It's easy. It's just easy if you know it. So that's why I make you guys, I know it's been painful. I know it was painful. It's painful. I know it's not fun. And a lot of people don't like to upload documents. I get it. Some love it, like Susie over there. So if you like it, then great. TC your own files. If you have the time to do it, TC your own files, because when you hire a TC, you're either paying that fee of $350 to $400, or your buyer is, or your seller. If you guys are here for Tanja, I 100% agree with her. I do not think you should put that on your buyer or seller. I think you should pay for that. But a lot of agents don't want to do it because they leverage their time, which is fine. But then if you're going to leverage it, you should pay it. You shouldn't put that another cost on your buyer. They have plenty of closing costs. When it's something, there used to not be TCs. When I started real estate, there was no TCs. Like, you did everything. You're the agent, you do the whole transaction. So that's why I think I'm so like such a stickler on you guys learning this stuff, because it is part of your job. And also all the disclosures, when you're reading through those and looking at them, your first couple transactions, you know what they are. So if someone says, I don't, a buyer asks you a question, what's this document? You're like, I don't know, my TC just sent it to you, and you have no idea. It just doesn't make you look professional at all. Your TC is not, if they're not licensed, they're not allowed to say anything about a disclosure anyways. They are not allowed to. So if they did to a buyer, it's a huge liability. So you have to know that stuff and be knowledgeable. So as boring as they are, the forms and contracts are the biggest thing that will get you in trouble if you don't know them. So that's why I'm like, so like all the time. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen these checklists that you need big, huge glasses to read, but this is all the forms that are in command on here. So everything that was, in the document section is on this checklist too, and it's everything that has to be in a file. If you guys hire your own TC, which some of you will, I will sit down and do a one-on-one 30-minute with them and show them the ropes if they don't know KW system. If you don't know KW system, then they're not going to know how to do any of this. So Martha just hired a new TC, and I sat down with her and showed her, and now she's good to go to do all her file, all her documents. So if that's you guys, I'll do that with your TC. If you hire someone outside, we have quite a few in here, but everyone uses who they want to use. That's your right. So, but I think that's it on my part. You guys have any questions? So fun. Yes, Derek.
So how do we get rid of the consents we just made?
Oh, so you, because I got to do it too. Okay, so go back to your opportunities, the little handshakes. Okay, and then go to, hold on, don't do anything yet. Let me, because I know you can, I just got to remember because I haven't done it. Oh no, I don't want to go to settings. And it's like smaller on here. I think.
It's okay, Jaclyn, you can just. pay
I think
us.
you can do, yeah, right?
We got this listed.
So what you can do is you can click, what you do is you just click lost opportunity. So once you're in the person on this page, hit lost opportunity and it's gone. And just write if it's, well, let me.
Lost opportunity and save.
And save. So right on this page, right here where it says lost opportunity, toggle that. And then it'll be gone. It'll like archive it out. So you won't have any, yeah. So then if you go back to your opportunities, it should be gone. Like it's gone out of my under contract now. It kind of keeps everything like in a back. It's like a cloud, oops. It's like a cloud or not a cloud, but like, our command is like that. So that is gonna be saved like in the back, but it's not an active, it doesn't affect your numbers or anything like that, but nothing ever gets like deleted. It's all like saved in the archive of command, which is kind of scary. It's like floating somewhere. I don't know. It's in the cloud. Where's the cloud?